So you've heard about this thing called blockchain, but what exactly is it? Is it really some sort of magical technology that's going to change the world? Or is it just hype? We actually did an episode on what the blockchain is, but I got to thinking, the blockchain isn't just this thing that exists now. It has a history. So here's the history of the blockchain. Part 1, the birth of the blockchain and Bitcoin. Hey there, welcome to our channel, a place where you can learn all about the blockchain and decentralized finance. In a previous episode, we talked about what the blockchain is. However, today we are taking a look at where the blockchain came from. If you have watched that episode, you might recall me saying that the blockchain is essentially a special type of database that allows for transactions to be recorded and verified without the need for an intermediary like a bank. Essentially, the blockchain was created to allow people to transact with each other in a decentralized way. But the question is, who created the blockchain and why? Well, let's go back to the beginning, all the way back to October 2008. This was right before the global financial crisis when everyone was talking about the failings of the traditional financial system. It was during this time that someone or a group of people under the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto published a white paper titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. This white paper introduced the concept of a blockchain and described how it could be used to create a digital currency called Bitcoin. Satoshi proposed a system where transactions could be verified by multiple computers on a network, eliminating the need for a central authority like a bank. Each transaction would be grouped together with others in a block, and the blocks would be linked together in a chain, hence the name blockchain. Sounds pretty crazy, right? Well, not really if you think about it. This was basically a new way to move money around without having to go through a bank. And that's still pretty crazy. But Nakamoto wasn't just thinking about moving money around. He was also thinking about disrupting entire industries. The most important thing to understand about the blockchain is that it's a decentralized technology. What does that mean? Well, in a centralized system, all of the data is stored in one place. For example, your bank stores all of your transaction data on its servers. This works fine until something goes wrong. If the bank gets hacked, all of your data is at risk. Or even worse, the bank could go bankrupt and your data could be lost forever. That's where the blockchain is different. Because the blockchain is decentralized, the data is distributed across many computers on the network. This makes it extremely difficult for hackers to attack because they would have to hack into every single computer on the network. Additionally, the blockchain is immutable, meaning that once a block of data is added to the chain, it cannot be removed. This provides an extra layer of security. Another key feature of the blockchain is that it is trustless. What does that mean? Well, in a centralized system, you have to trust the bank to keep your data safe. With the blockchain, you don't need to trust anyone. The system is designed to be secure without the need for a central authority. So that's the basic idea behind the blockchain. But how exactly does it work? Well, the answer depends on what part of the blockchain you're talking about. For example, there are different types of blockchains. The most well-known type is a public blockchain, which means that anyone can view the data stored on the blockchain. Private blockchains, on the other hand, are permissioned, meaning that only certain people are allowed to view the data. Another type of blockchain is a distributed ledger, which is basically a record of all transactions that have ever occurred on the network. The ledger is shared among all the computers on the network, so everyone has the same view of the data. One of the first practical uses of the blockchain was Bitcoin, which was launched in January 2009 by Satoshi Nakamoto. In essence, Bitcoin is a digital currency that can be used to buy goods and services like any other currency. The difference is that Bitcoin is decentralized, meaning that it is not controlled by any government or financial institution. When a Bitcoin transaction occurs, it is verified by multiple computers on the blockchain network and then added to the ledger. This makes it very difficult for anyone to counterfeit Bitcoin or double spend it. If you don't know what double spending is, let me explain. Imagine you have a $100 bill. You go to the store and buy something for $10. The merchant gives you $90 in change. Now you go to another store and try to buy something for $100. They won't accept it because you already used it at the other store. That's what we call double spending. The reason why this doesn't work with Bitcoin is because all the transactions are public and the blockchain is immutable. This means that if you tried to double spend Bitcoin, everyone on the network would know about it, and your transaction would be rejected. In May 2010, the first Bitcoin transaction between a person and a business took place. The buyer, Laszlo Hanyecz, bought 2 pizzas with 10,000 Bitcoin. At the time, this was worth about $40, but today it would be worth over $1 billion. This day, May 22nd, is now known as Bitcoin Pizza Day in honor of the first Bitcoin transaction. In the early days, Bitcoin was mostly bought and sold on underground forums and websites. However, in 2011, things began to change when the value of Bitcoin started to increase. In June 2011, 1 Bitcoin was worth about $2. By December, it had risen to $31. This dramatic increase in value caught the attention of the media and investors. And suddenly, everyone was talking about Bitcoin. Over the next few years, Bitcoin continued to grow in popularity. In 2013, it was accepted by over 100 merchants, and in 2014, it was traded on several major exchanges. By 2016, Bitcoin was a household name, and the media was talking about it non-stop. Of course, the value of Bitcoin has increased dramatically since then, and today it's one of the most popular and well-known cryptocurrencies in the world. Let's wrap up this video and part 1 of the blockchain series by discussing why Bitcoin is such a big deal. As we mentioned earlier, Bitcoin is the first practical use of the blockchain technology. It was the first cryptocurrency and the first decentralized digital asset. Before Bitcoin, all digital assets were centralized, meaning that they were controlled by a bank or a government. Bitcoin changed all of that. It gave us a new way to think about digital assets and how they can be used. In addition, Bitcoin is a truly disruptive technology. It has the potential to change the way we think about money and how it is used. In fact, some people believe that Bitcoin will eventually replace fiat currencies like the US dollar. Only time will tell if that happens. But one thing is for sure, Bitcoin has already changed the world in more ways than one. When Satoshi Nakamoto released the Bitcoin white paper in 2008, he didn't realize the impact that it would have. He simply wanted to create a better way to move digital assets around. But his invention soon became much more than that. Bitcoin became a symbol of hope for people who were struggling under the weight of government overreach and economic uncertainty. It gave them a new asset that they could use to protect their wealth and their freedom. In addition, Bitcoin inspired a whole new industry of decentralized technologies. Today, there are thousands of cryptocurrencies and blockchain startups out there looking to disrupt everything from finance to healthcare to supply chain management. All of this would not have been possible without Bitcoin. Finally, Bitcoin is a true testament to human ingenuity. It shows us what can be accomplished when people work together toward a common goal. The Bitcoin community is made up of some of the brightest minds in the world, and they continue to push the boundaries of what's possible with this technology. As we look to the future of Bitcoin and the blockchain, one thing is clear. These technologies will continue to evolve and change the world in ways that we can't even imagine yet. We hope you've enjoyed this brief history of Bitcoin and the blockchain. So that's a quick history of the blockchain and Bitcoin. In part 2, we'll talk about how the blockchain has evolved from a simple ledger to a powerful platform for developing decentralized applications, the rise of Ethereum, and how it expanded blockchain beyond digital currency. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you in the next video.